Before a colleague or yourself has an attitude problem this summer, ask one question. How hot was the room? Before you decide a colleague or yourself has an attitude problem this summer, ask one question. How hot was the room? Welcome back. This is Dr. Lisa, Science Back, Soul Supported Day 2 of The Heat. And today we're retiring a belief that costs leaders more than they realize. This belief that I want to retire is because I think it costs leaders more than almost anything else this time of year. And here's the belief. I'm irritable, so something must be wrong with me. Now, watch how that one actually runs. You were short in a meeting, you snap at an email that did not deserve it, you kick the dog. You notice you have less patience than you did in April, and instead of asking why, you reach for a verdict about your character. You're losing your edge. You're not handling pressure the way you used to. Something's wrong with you. None are true. And then here's the most expensive part. When you start spending energy managing the shame on top of managing the day, wow. Let me give you a different explanation, and it's honestly not a softer one, but it's certainly a more accurate one. I'm going back to Craig Anderson's work at Iowa State. There's a warm room and people are rating the same neutral faces as more hostile. The heat doesn't only raise your temperature, it bends your perception toward threat. So the world genuinely looks more annoying when you're hot. The coworker, the kid, the partner, the inbox, all of it reads as more against you than it did when you were cool. And that's not a flaw in your judgment. That is your judgment doing exactly what a hot nervous system tells it to do. And there's a mechanism under that you can feel in your own body. When you're overheated, your physiology is running a cool operation in the background, moving blood to the skin, working to shed heat, spending resources to keep you regulated. That work is not free. It draws down the same pool you would otherwise use for patience, for focus, for the pause before you respond. So, by mid-afternoon on a hot day, you are not a worse person. Trust me, you're not. You're a person who reserves, having been quietly spent, keeping you cool. You're a person whose reserves have been quietly spent keeping you cool, treating that depletion like a character test. Hear the difference, because for a leader, it's everything. Something is wrong with me is a verdict. It closes the case and it adds shame. I'm a body under load is a diagnosis. It stays open. It points at conditions you can actually do something about. And it does not require you to think less of yourself to be true. This matters most in the moments you would least suspect. The feedback you give a struggling employee, the read you take on a peer's tone in a tense thread, the decision you make about someone's future when you're hot and depleted and certain you're seeing clearly. You're not. In every one of those, the verdict version of you acts fast and harsh and calls it decisiveness. The diagnosis version of you slows down half a step and asks whether it's the load that's talking. Here's what I want you to practice. When you catch the irritation rising, don't immediately ask what's wrong with you. Ask what's true about your conditions. Have you eaten? Cooled down? Is it the hottest part of the worst day of the week? Most of the time, you'll find the irritation is not a message about your worth. It's a message about your physiology. And physiology is workable in a way that character verdicts never are. You're broken. You're not broken in July. You're hot and under load and doing a demanding job inside a body that is spending itself to keep you regulated. Give yourself the diagnosis instead of the verdict, and watch how much capacity comes back to the moment when you stop fighting yourself. If you've been quietly running the "something is wrong with me" story this summer, comment help below and I'll point you towards something that makes this practical. You don't have to white knuckle your way through another hot season. Well, that's today. If this gave you one easier breath, help me pass it on. Like, subscribe, share, drop a comment because I read every single one, or add it to a playlist. Every share brings one more person into the Zen community, and that's how we build this, one steadier day at a time.